Hello again, here we go with another update, even though it's only been a week. The problem I've got with the updates is that I had lots and lots of comments, which I love the comments. I love getting comments and hearing what people think about the plans. But quite often, by the time I've got the comments, due to the fact that I've got to shoot the footage and then edit it and then before it gets posted, by the time it's posted, quite often I've moved on to the next section. So some of the comments, there's some really good ideas which I perhaps didn't think about. However, I might have gone past the point where I can implement them, which is a bit annoying. So I thought I'd go through some of the ideas because I did have some brilliant comments, and I always appreciate everyone's comments. So I'll try and address them as quickly as I can before we actually move on to where I am at the moment. So Gonad 1259 said the biggest problem he could see was that you won't be able to see which track is empty, which is a fair comment, because there's not going to be much room underneath in the storage area. So you wouldn't be able to, set the points right. You wouldn't know what train is where, basically. But actually, I'm using blocks all over the layout. And this drawing here is the main part of the layout, the bit above ground, if you like. And it shows how I've divided up into blocks. This is the station area here, which is fairly self-explanatory. I use train controller silver, which it's not set up properly, but it does work. It's not programmed or anything. That's a long-term aim. So you can see the blocks here where the platforms are. I've given things rudimentary names. It doesn't mean these will stick with the names. So this elevated west, elevated east is part of the goods line, which you can see comes around here. Is the folded figure 8. It goes over there and under there. And you can control the points obviously using the ECOS or using the mouse if you're using the screen, if you're using train controller. This block here, which I've got down speed profiling, my aim there, block 10, is eventually to be able to set it up to speed profile all my locomotives so I can work out roughly the skill speeds. So that's straight there will be for determining the skill speed, but that's a future thing. So we've got the twin main lines, and then you've got the folded figure 8 goods line. This here comes off the goods line through block 22. This little bit here, this is where it will branch off to the branch line, which is this bit here. I haven't fully put it in. This is the branch line, the prospective branch line, and this here, block 30, is down towards the train storage, which eventually goes underneath the station area. And if I switch to the storage tracks, so you've got block 30 comes down into the train storage area, and you've got the tracks all divided up into blocks. So because I always use DCC chips with Railcom, I can identify which train, which locomotive is actually in which block by name, which makes it much easier. So I'll be able to tell what is where on the plan, what train is where. But I'll also use a combination of some cameras, some small cameras I'm going to have fitted with some illumination under the board, so I can actually check on a monitor the actual position, because obviously once the locomotive enters the block, you just know it's in the block, you don't actually know where it is. Although you can set up in train controller, providing you calibrate everything precisely, you can set train controller up to stop a locomotive with fairly good accuracy. So I might try that, but I will be using cameras because you can't obviously drive it blind. So I hope that answers your question, Gonads 1259. Great username as well. Okay, if we switch back to AnyRail, so this is the plan of the storage area underneath the main layout, and as you can see, the tracks fan out from a series of mostly three-way points, and there's a couple of people mentioned three-way points, and is it the best thing to do because of reliability problems? Okay, so I had quite a long comment from Trains Lover. So thanks for that. I always appreciate everyone's comment who was agreeing with GS425, who's actually called Gary, basically saying join the reversing loop on before the throat of the fiddle yard. So means all trains can be turned before parking, which was a good idea. Trains Lover sort of amplified on that. Trains Lover, it's LUVR. Trains Lover basically said, he said that I was fouling the branch line so trains can't run uninterrupted, which is a good point. And he also thought it might be better to have a double track. So I think what he meant was, so the reversing loop comes round here, and instead of joining back on to the throat, the input here, because it obviously, if a train comes in, the point's set one way, and to go back out, you've got to change the point. You've got to make sure you change the point. So what he suggested was have it run round as a double track. So basically, one track in, one track out, which would have been actually excellent. Except I think I'm a little bit pushed for space over here. I'm not certain, but I think I might not be able to squeeze that in, a double track, because it wasn't on my original idea. But that was a good idea, and I think in hindsight, I might have wished I could fit it in, but I've gone beyond that, unfortunately, where I am at the moment. Trains Lover also suggested that three-way points aren't particularly reliable, or may not be reliable. You know, they may be problematic. I know what he means, the three-way points. I've got a few on the main layout, and I must say I've had no problems with three-way points. So I'll take that on board. I don't know if there's anyone else had a problem with three-way points. Curve points might be have been a better idea, he said, instead of using three-way points to sort of save the space with the curve. Right, so while we're looking at this as well, this is the actual reversing loop, which is very big, and I said before it's a 21-inch radius. Minoc 1217 said, why is your reverse loop radius so big? I wanted it big so that I wouldn't get any buffer lock or anything like that, and this is actually as big as I can make it, because round about here in the loft, on this bottom edge here, there's actually some wooden beams in the loft. So it's essentially I just made it as big as I could to fit in there, because I'm always of the opinion if you can fit a large radius in, then you should, because I think it helps with running. So there's no need for it to be this big. I mean, this 21 inches is actually between a third and fourth radius. Okay, so Martin Prescott suggested, he says he's got a similar problem, and he suggested, which I thought was quite a good idea, is put a hinge along this top edge here, so we can actually hinge the whole storage tracks down out of the way, which would actually be good, because it would mean I could work underneath the station area should I need to without any problems. So that was a good idea. Thanks for that, Martin. And also back to GS425, Gary suggested that there's some toggles at each end to release the storage tracks underneath, so it can be lowered out of place. I'm not going to use toggles, but I am designing it so that it can be dropped, if you like, so I can work underneath the station. So Peter With said, why not use a harp arrangement rather than funnel? I assume this is a funnel, because obviously I'm fairly new to the railway thing. So this looks like a funnel arrangement, where everything sort of branches off from a few tracks. He says, why not use a harp arrangement? It means a harp arrangement, all the tracks are the same length, which is a good idea, except this is the space I've got. I actually think I might not quite have had as much width as this, but this is the space. So what I've done is I've created a harp arrangement to show you the overlay. So if I put it on the top, this is the harp as suggested by Peter, which is a great idea because all the tracks are the same length, so it's not a problem. Where's the variable length here? And if I overlay that on top, as you can see, that's about as the maximum length you'd get the tracks with the harp arrangement, because I really can't go any wider than this grey area. The problem is that I didn't actually go for this, because I did consider this. I didn't realise it was called a harp or a funnel, but okay, if I click a track, you can't see it because it's off screen. This track here is actually 1.411 meters long. That's just I did this very rough, so it's basically 141 centimeters long, each of these tracks, which is, it's nice because they're all even. However, that's actually not long enough to get high-speed train in 5 coaches, which is what I want to do. Because that's about 1.8 meters if I remember rightly. Can't remember off the top of my head. So if I just highlight these tracks here, that is actually 2.4 meters long, which is really long, obviously, compared to 1.4. So that's the reason why I decided to use it, do it as a funnel, because it gives me more longer tracks. This is great. If I had more space, I would have definitely gone with a harp arrangement. If each one could have been 2 meters, that would have been brilliant, because they're all parallel. And I think it's much easier as well, because it doesn't use so many, well, it doesn't use any three-way points. They're all just standard left and right hand points. So it would have been nice. But thanks for your comment, Peter With. It's great. Okay, so look at a comment from Jakes. Jake said, regarding the branch line, the blue one, the light blue one, is down to the branch line, and then it bears left to the storage tracks. So the branch line comes around here. The branch line. So Jakes said he thinks I should complete the storage area. I'll just actually turn that off so you can see. That's better. The above ground tracks. I should complete the storage area and then start the sonic treatment of all the upstairs bit. Basically, because if I put the branch line in, it's going to make reaching this back here quite difficult, which he's got a very valid point actually. In fact, some of the bits I've built already, for example, this corner here and this loopy corner here, because of this bit here, makes this bit difficult to access, this corner, and the same over here with this part of the goods line, makes it difficult to get right over here. So if I put the branch line in as well, it's going to be even harder still. But I think I might ditch the branch line altogether. I haven't decided yet, but the original plan was to put it in, just for operational interest. It's great to get comments, so keep them coming. As I said before, the only problem is sometimes to get the comments with a really good suggestion, and I've actually just gone, literally might have just gone past that point because of the delay between filming it, editing and uploading the videos. So it's a little bit frustrating sometimes, but it's great to get comments. And I got a comment from Rob McCrane at Farland House, and he likes the track plan. And when somebody like Rob says something like that, it's you get starstruck, to be honest, because you have certain channels that you follow a lot, then you look forward to the updates, and Rob McCrane of Farland House, one of them. I think his layout's superb. And obviously there's Div Class 47 and Everard Junction as well. They're my favourites. And in America there's a guy called Stephen Bennett whose layout is superb. He's got a massive basement space and he's got a huge layout in there, and his scenic treatment is first class. I'd say he's the American equivalent of Everard Junction in his attention to scenic detail. He's made some fabulous videos, and he's also an excellent scratch builder. So in preparation for installing the storage tracks underneath the station area, I've got to make sure that all the wiring is good and sound and correct underneath, because I don't want to have to be removing the storage area, which hopefully I'm designing in the possibility, to fix wiring. So I've had to sort out the wiring. There's a few niggles I've had. This crossover here has caused me a lot of headaches, because I just couldn't get my head around how you wire a crossover up. I looked on the DCC Concepts website. They've got some great leaflets, and I thought that helped, but it didn't seem to work. So what I did is I actually emailed DCC Concepts direct, and they replied within a few hours with advice and compliments as well on the layout design, which I thought was nice. But they basically sent me this leaflet about how to wire it up, and some instructions in the email. So with help from DCC Concepts, which was brilliant, I managed to wire this up correctly. Okay, here's the baseboard for the storage tracks underneath. I had some Sundela left, so it's Sundela, but it's on 1/2 inch ply, which are mounted to 3 inch by 1 inch battens for rigidity. So I think that should be okay. I was actually going to lay it in situ on the floor there, but I've decided it's going to be quicker and much easier on my back and my knees if I take it out and bring it up to working height, which means I've got to get it up to basically the layout height, which is here, which means because it's 11 feet long, I've got to take those two legs away which means I've got to support the layout somehow to stop it collapsing, obviously, because I don't think it'll support itself, just held at the ends. So after much deliberation I came up with this rather strange idea to hang it on a chain. So what we have here, I've put a little cross beam across there from one of the roof beams here, and this post is actually screwed to one of the supports behind the plasterboard of the loft boarding, and then we have a chain, and we have a turnbuckle to adjust the tension. So in theory I should be able to tighten that up, then remove both legs, and then it'll hang on the chain. That's the theory. And I'll be able to get the baseboard out, bring it up high, and work on it much easier, much quicker, and I'll get a precise, I'll be able to lay the track better basically. So we'll see if that works. Just cut the legs off, so there's now no supports from right under there to right over there, and I'm going to have to reroute these cables, so I hope they're long enough. So it's a bit drastic, but I think it has to be done. Well, for my back it has to be done. It's probably going to be quicker as well. So now I've got to get the board, which is quite heavy because it's got these 3x1 edges, then it's got 9mm ply, actually I think that's 12mm ply, and then it's got Sundelio on the top, so it's going to be quite heavy. I'm going to get that out and rest it up high on these trestles. I've made 3 of these trestles this afternoon, which I'm going to rest it on. When it's on the trestles I'm actually going to put a leg back into here just to be on the safe side. I'm not confident this chain will keep for too long. I'm sure it will. It's not that much weight really. Under quite a bit of tension. Right, there we go. Bit of a tight squeeze. This board is basically, I think it's over 11 feet long, so it just fits at this height. And I've only got it resting on 2 trestles actually, because there's using 3-inch wood here. It's got sufficient strength, I think. It's got sufficient stiffness not to bend. It's quite sturdy in the middle. So I've moved the chain. I've removed the chain. It means I can. The trestles actually have an overhang onto the layout. I don't know if you'll be able to see underneath. There's an overhang there, which means I can get past basically because there's no room in the loft. And I've put a temporary leg in place there, and another. Where's it? Another temporary leg, an emergency, just in case. So there, they'll keep it up, no problem, whilst I work on the top. So this is going to be storage. There's going to be 10 lines in here hopefully, and the trains will come in that end, down this incline which I'm busy putting in here. We'll go round there, it'll come on at that end. Roughly about here, I'm going to have to cut some of this down. Cut here, then it'll branch off into the 10 tracks. The outside track, which is actually this one, which is already pinned in place, that's going to be the return, because what's going to happen is it's going to go out that side into a reversing loop, which will come round under there and join on roughly here when it's underneath. Go along here and then back on, so they go out. Sorry, they go out the same way they came in basically. That's the plan. So I think it's going to be much easier to wire this up and to put the track down at this height. So we'll just crack on now, laying the track. It's absolute devastation in here at the minute. There's a lot to be said for working in a garage, I think. Loft space isn't very good. Okay, I think we'll leave it there. Crack on. Hopefully not too long before the next update. And I know some of my subscribers like music. Something I've never mentioned in all the times I've been doing this is that I present a radio program on Spark FM in Sunderland. It's a community station, and on a Sunday I do an oldies show called Spark Gold, where we play lots of classic hits and a few surprises as well, 1 or 2 competitions and features, perhaps even asking for a request. Then tune in on Sundays at 2 o'clock, 2 p.m. So if you want to tune into that, it'd be nice to hear from you. It's sparksunderland.com is the website. You can listen online. Well, it's 107 if you're in the Sunderland area. Be nice to hear from you. Until next time, bye for now.